Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about my different shoes that I have. So I have 4 trail shoes to talk about, and they are all different for different types of running basically. So the first shoe I'm going to talk about is the one that I wear the most. This is the Ultra Lone Peak, I think it's 6 or 7. Great pre-video research going on there. So they look lovely and clean because I think I washed them with a hose when I last went for a run, but they are still wet. So they have lots of flexibility, which is great for when you're on any technical terrain, when you're going up hills, stuff like that. It's also good for strengthening your feet. They've got quite good outsole, and they also lock okay, but they're not the best. So these are something that I normally wouldn't wear to race in, but I did race in them in Dubai, just because it was the only shoe I had with me. But also they're just a really good workhorse. I wear them for probably about 80% of the stuff I do because I don't do much on the road. They've got a good toe box, so you've got lots of toe splay there. They lock down quite nicely. I am trying to still work out how to lace them for my feet. But yeah, so the cushioning's pretty good, and I do wear barefoot and I run mostly with cushioned shoes. Then we have the Ultra Mont Blanc Boa. So I've had these since I think about May. I did do a really long distance run in them. I did about 34 miles in them in May time along the Jurassic Coast, and they were ace. But I personally don't like this much cushioning. It's just too much for me. I feel like I'm wearing clogs. So these aren't as flexible as the Lone Peaks, but the rocker that they do have is really good for speed. So I actually wear them for park runs because at the moment I don't have any road shoes. So the Boa side of things is to tighten them. So this is supposed to be more personalised with the fit, but I personally would rather laces. They do a lace version as well. The cuff is good as well. I've never had any hot spots. I did get a hot spot in my toe when we did the long distance, but that was in between 2 toes, even with toe socks on. So I think that was just the fact that I was running very far. Big toe box once again. I got these half a size bigger than normal. So they're a 6.5. I got these in a 6.5 and then gave them back. So these are a 6. So maybe half a size bigger for these, especially if you're going to do longer distances. And then we have my racing shoe. So this is the Innovate X Talon Ultra. It has more cushioning than the normal X Talons, and it has similar outsole really to a Mudclaw, but it locks the foot down very well. But then at the same time, there is quite a lot of space for the toes. So the whole point in the Ultra side of things is that there is space for toe swelling and there is quite a lot of cushioning. So I find that I can wear these on the road if there's like a race that has road in, but then also the grip's really good. And for obstacle course racing, I really like these because I know that they're not going to let me down. I'm not going to slip over, anything like that. So I know that I can just dig in and forget about my feet, which is definitely the main aim. They're a pretty good workhorse. They haven't been very durable. These are my second pair, so I will have to see what happens with pair number 2, but pair number 1, it did come apart all the way along the outer when it connects to the midsole, but other than that, these are really good and I absolutely love them. And then lastly are my newest additions, nice and muddy and wet from today's run. So these shoes are the Vivo Barefoot Primus 3 soft ground. So soft ground means that they have these nice teeth, and they're quite heavy for a Vivo, but then that's because there's quite a lot of underfoot protection. So they are surprisingly good underfoot when you're going on rocky terrain. I found that today. They were good on grass, they were good on mud. I slipped a few times, but it was like the kind of terrain and the kind of weather where it was just inevitable to slip. I really like the sock because it makes it feel like you're not wearing shoes even more. I think I cut the back of my ankle, which then rubbed, because it didn't actually feel like a blister. I think I cut my ankle on a bramble. And then they have a drawstring, which is great, and I just tuck that through the bottom and then through the top. So they're really good for toe splay. They are nice and tight fitting around the sort of midfoot area, And the only thing I'd say is that personally they're not the kind of shoe that I'd want to run on the road with. For one, don't want to wear down the really good grip, and for two, it was quite taxing on my calves because I ran about 15 miles today, which was just a little bit too much because we did have like a couple of sort of half a mile stints on the road. But yeah, obviously very flexible in both directions, and the underfoot protection is good. So they're my 4 exciting shoes at the moment that I love, and at some point I'm going to get a pair of road shoes. So yeah, those are my 4 favourite shoes for the minute.